Hi guys, it's Imani from Ruach Entertainment, and today we're going to talk all about the judges. So when we think of judges today, we often picture a courtroom setting, someone in a robe making legal decisions. But the judges in the Bible were so much more. Unlike kings, the judges didn't inherit their positions. They were divinely appointed leaders specifically chosen by God, who stepped in during some of Israel's darkest times. Without them, the nation of Israel would have lost its way entirely. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites had one job: drive the remaining inhabitants out of the land of Canaan. And did they do that? No. Now you may be wondering, why couldn't the Israelites just live peacefully with the Canaanites? Well, these surrounding nations were absolutely corrupt. Many were descendants from the Nephilim. They practiced child sacrifice, abortions, sexual immorality in all its forms, and not to mention idol worship. The list could go on and on. God repeatedly warned his people that if they allowed the Canaanites to live in the surrounding nations, they would get corrupted by them and turn their backs on God. However, the Israelites disobeyed God's commands, and what followed was a vicious cycle of sin. God allowed them to be conquered by the surrounding nations. They would then realize the error of their ways and turn back to God. God would raise up mighty heroes or judges to defend them. Judges 2 verse 16 states, "Then the Lord raised up judges who saved them out of the hands of these raiders." This would then cause them to turn back to the Lord, and they would be at peace for as long as the judge lived. In total, there were 12 judges. The first judge named in the Bible is Othniel. Othniel did what the Lord commanded, and Israel saw peace for 40 years. Now, my favorite judge is Deborah, the only female judge and a prophetess who led Israel to battle. She even has her own song. The 12th and final judge is Samson. God had set him apart as a Nazirite before birth. But with Canaanite culture now deeply ingrained with Israelite culture, he was no different than them. He broke every regulation of his Nazirite call. He slept with prostitutes, was extremely violent, and used his God-given strength for selfish reasons. After the source of his power, his hair, gets cut off, God could have easily been done with Samson. However, Judges 16 verses 22 states, "But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved." God's plan to deliver Israel had not been abandoned. When Samson called out to God again, God listened and gave him the strength to destroy the Philistines who gathered at the temple of Dagon. Though Samson's life wasn't perfect, it foreshadowed the life of a coming Messiah, who would one day deliver his people from their enemies of sin and death. So what can we learn from these stories? Well, as you can see, many of the judges were far from perfect, just like you and me. But each was chosen by God to fulfill a specific purpose. Their lives remind us that God can use anyone, regardless of their failures or flaws, to accomplish his will. We can also learn how sin can bring suffering over a nation, when a new generation decides to turn their back on God. But when they humble themselves and pray and seek God's face, and turn from their wicked ways, then he will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. In the time period of the judges, God did this through sending the judges who were filled with his Spirit to accomplish his will. So what about you? Are you truly living for God? Have you really turned away from your wicked ways and love God with everything in you? Or are you lukewarm? You know, the Bible says that apart from him, we are nothing. So don't waste your life because it is short. Instead, put God first in everything that you do, and he will bless you just like he did with the judges and the nation of Israel. That is all for today's video, guys. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!